Hey guys, June is over, July is on its way. With that comes a new TBR and a brand new readathon taking place that is completely romantic fantasy. What's going on? Hey guys, if you're new, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole. If this is your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. So this brand new readathon is a month-long Romantasy challenge readathon hosted by Cassidy over at Covers with Cass. I will leave a link to her video down below so you can check it out, see if you want to join. It just looks like so much fun. I know that she is also selling some merch through her site. Links will be on her video page for that, stickers and things. Last time I checked, she did sell out, so I don't know if they're gonna, be offering more, but stay tuned for that. But it just sounded like a fun time, and I would just love to have a month of reading nothing but romantasy. I do love my romantasy, we know that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Basically, there is a sheet that I will put up here that you can kind of see kind of at a glance. I'm going to cover parts 1 and 2 to this because those are the ones that are like the main ones, and kind of you have to find a way to link them if you really want a full challenge. For 3 and the bonus challenges, those are kind of a as you read if you discover portion to it. But let me take that down into a little bit more detail for you. Basically what it is for section 1, you have to read 1 book for each of these 8 tropes. You cannot double up on prompts. You cannot double up on books. It is 1 book per trope. So these tropes, span all types of your more popular romantasy tropes that you find in these books. She tried to keep it simple and easy, and we love her for that. As far as part 2, this is unlocking tropes. And this is that if you are looking for a harder challenge or wanting to do the Romantasy readathon on, hard mode as it were, you have to take those 8 tropes, or the books you've picked for those 8 tropes, and match them to one of these kind of like extra prompts per the 8 books. Once again, you can't double up. You can't use new books. These must be the 8 books that you have selected. So it's kind of like whatever book you pick for, let's just go Reluctant Allies as your first pick, that book must also meet one of the 8 kind of extra prompts down in part 2. And so I'll go over that with you as we're doing that. Part 3 is microtropes. These are kind of like things that happen spontaneously in the book. You're not going to know until you're reading the book. Things like somebody lost a memory, or they're on the run, or there was an almost kiss, things like that. So as you read, you can kind of like check those off of things that you've covered and see how far you get. And then there are bonus challenges. And this is just for what fantasy element kind of falls into your book. They all seem pretty good. I mean, Vikings does seem a little bit hard for fantasy, and there are starting to come out with more Vikings. Sadly, I think I read my go-to, which was The Fate So Cold. So that one won't be up, but we're going to see what we get to and see what we have left over, and if we have time to try to challenge those ones as well. But let's go ahead and get into what I'm going to be covering for my 8 books. And of course, we are going to go hard mode and see what tropes we can get. I think I've matched them pretty good. So let's get into it. So for my Reluctant Allies pick, which is kind of we are forced to cooperate and be allies in this situation, I am going with The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford. You guys have seen this probably on not only a book haul, but on a previous T.B.R. because I have been wanting to read it. I've never read from A.K. Mulford before, but this is basically, you have, I'll read the little blurb, and it's for over a dozen years, 19-year-old Remy has known she is possibly the last Red Witch alive, and she's determined to stay that way. But the Northern Court King, who has slaughtered her family and placed a bounty on the Red Witch heads, is intent on destroying her kind once and for all. When 4 Fey warriors find her, Remy comes face to face with the determined and handsome Prince Hale of the Eastern Kingdom. He claims he wants to stop a war with the Northern Court, and in order to do that, he needs a Red Witch. Yet, as she's drawn to him, can she really trust this prince? If this could mean saving herself and her people and restoring her kingdom, does she even have a choice? So she doesn't want to get involved, hence reluctant, but she's going to join up anyway with hopes of saving herself and her people. So this is going to be reluctant allies. And as far as the part 2 unlocking tropes, this is also going to qualify for a book I already own because I already own it. It's here. It's been here for a while. So we're going to go ahead and do this one for our first pick. So next up, we have the Fated Mates. Now, I went the easy route and went with kind of like a werewolf one because usually in most werewolf books, you have a fated mate scenario. And I chose The Woven Mark by Megan Linsky. This is the first book in the Hidden Legends University of Sorcery series. And basically, I'm hoping it's going to be a dual POV because you have finding your soulmate can be deadly. Emma, I never believed magic was real until I used it to kill a werewolf. Not long after, a letter arrived from a supernatural school claiming I was a sorceress. I'm forced into a world where dragons breathe fire, griffins fly, alicorns battle, and wolves hunt monsters. At this academy, sorceresses are bound to an alpha shifter mate, and pagan rituals are used to connect with the gods. I know my mate is somewhere within the school, along with those who want my blood. A cult of dark magic is following my every move, and I have to master my powers before they come for me. On the flip side, you have Ethan. I never meant to kill my own father. What happened led to the loss of my leg and my reputation as heir to the throne. I found a way to pay for my sins by playing the role of Prince Ethan during the day and a vigilante hunting cultists by night. Keeping my secret identity hidden has been far more difficult than I imagined. But now my kingdom is at stake. A new leader will be chosen through the King's Contest, a fatal competition where contestants battle for power and more often than not die in the process. Without a mate, I can't compete for the crown. I formed an unbreakable bond with Emma upon first sight, but I have to keep my love a secret. Emma can't know she's my true mate, otherwise she'll be in more danger than ever before. But the King's Contest is rapidly approaching, and if I don't choose a mate soon, the fate of my country will fall into the wrong hands. So there you go. There is your fated mate prompt, a competition. So it sounds fun for me. This one is also going to, for the part 2, this is going to unlock the audiobook trope, or I don't really want to call it a trope, but the prompt for that. So it's going to be both my fated mates and my audiobook prompt. So it should be interesting. I'm just starting to kind of get more into the fantasy romance or romance in itself audiobooks because I always kind of have a love or hate relationship with that. So we will see how it goes for that one. So next up, we have our 2 or more love interests. This can be a love triangle. This can be a reverse harem, a throuple, however you want to spin it, but there are more than 2 love interests in this book. So I ended up coming up with 2 possibilities for this. One is A Feather So Black, and the other one is Shouldn't Have Come. So I decided with having 2 options, I would now use my part 2 unlocking trope of using a spinner wheel to select which one we go with. So let's go ahead and do that. So we went ahead and chose, and as you can see, we landed on Shouldn't Have Come by Sloane Sable. I'm excited to read this one because it looks like it's a reverse harem involving the 4 horsemen, if it will. So let's go ahead and share a little bit. Madame Valeria Raventhorn, a void witch with talents for communicating with the dead and other unsavory things, is the last of her family's legacy. Shunned for her abilities, she jumps at the opportunity the Apparition Authority offers her. It's a chance to showcase her talent to the world. Ghost Hunt of a Century, broadcast live on TV during an eclipse. When the summoning doesn't go as planned, the apocalypse is unleashed, and the 4 horsemen want one thing: for Valeria to succumb. Time is of the essence as the solar eclipse peaks and a decision must be made. Will Valeria submit to the monsters or sacrifice herself to stop them? So it says it's a dark romance featuring various monsters as the 4 horsemen. So it'll be interesting because they're not just going to be like kind of the destructive horsemen. They might be like a werewolf or a dragon or something else. So we'll find out what that is, but it looks really good. It's also like less than 200 pages. So it's going to be hopefully a very quick read, which we're going to need with the amount of books that we're going to be trying to tackle for this. So once again, that will be my 2 or more love interests, as well as we just used the spinner wheel. So yay, it's working so far. Yay. So next up, we have the arranged marriage trope. For this one, I'm going with, it's book 2 in the series, but I found out that you don't have to necessarily read them in order possibly. So we're going to see how that goes, and I could be completely wrong, but we're going to do it anyway. And so for that, we are going to read A Dance with a Fae Prince by Elise Kova. I have read one of her works before, and I did enjoy it, so I'm curious to see where this goes. Plus, I've heard really, really good things and reviews about the Married to Magic series, so this falls as one of the books in that series. And basically, you have Katria swore she'd never fall in love. She's seen what love means through the cruelty of her family. So when she's married off to the mysterious Lord Fernwood for a handsome price, hence arranged marriage, all Katria wants is a better life than the one she's leaving. Feelings are off the table. But her new husband makes not falling in love difficult. As their attraction begins to grow, so too do the oddities within her new life. Strange rules, screams in the night, and attacks by fae that Katria never thought were real. When she witnesses a ritual not meant for human eyes, Katria finds herself spirited away to the land of Midscape. Surviving the Fae wilds as a human is hard enough. Katria must survive as a human who accidentally pilfered the magic of ancient kings. Magic a bloodthirsty king is ready to kill her for in order to keep his stolen throne. And her new husband is the rightful heir in hiding. The power to save the Fae is in her hands, but who will save her from a love she vowed never to feel? So it sounds interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how this goes. And then as far as for linking it with a trope or prompt from part 2, I am doing it as a sequel. So even though it's the first book I'm reading in the Married to Magic series, it is actually book 2 in the series. So we're doing things a little out of order and we're stretching the prompt a little bit, but it works. I've seen a few videos where others might do this as well. So we're going with it, and that is going to be my arranged marriage and sequel prompt book. So we're going to go with that. So next up, we have the Bodyguard romance, but the fantasy edition, which I thought it was going to be a little hard because I haven't come across too many. But I did know of one that has been waiting on my Kindle for a while because I think I was going to use it in a readathon a while back. And that is The Claw and the Crown by Sarah Craddock. This one is basically you have Emerald is unfit to be a princess. Everyone has always told her so. So when the king stuns everyone by crowning her the princess consort, her life is completely upended, crushing any lingering dreams of a future away from the suffocating court. Still reeling from the news, she meets Drazen. I'm sorry if I mess up these names. It is hard to figure out. The formidable mercurial knight who wins the right to be her personal guard. But when he defiantly refuses any show of respect, a dangerous spark ignites between them, one she doesn't know how to extinguish, and worse, she's not sure if she wants to. The dark night's licentious midnight whispers ling over her, commands she feels inexplicably called to obey. His dangerous promises spread their tendrils over her desperate failed attempts to embrace life with the prince, her childhood best friend. They take her apart and put her back together, piece by agonizing piece. Yet she can't shake the sense that Drazen is hiding something important. He refuses to explain why he surrendered a life of privilege to become her guard. The roaring vengeance burning in his heart, scorching him from the inside out, is a painful mystery Emerald can't solve. But she will, because his revenge doesn't just start with her. It ends with her. So it's kind of interesting. I'm expecting to have possibly some witty enemy to lover type banter in this as well. But it should be interesting. And of course, he is her bodyguard. She is the princess, and nighttime whispers. You know, you can only imagine what those are going to be. So we are going to do that for our bodyguard romance. And as far as linking it with one of the prompts from part 2, I'm doing it as a social media rec because while I was watching it, I believe Mel from Melanor Reads is choosing the Claw and the Crown. And if it's not her choosing it, then it was Cassidy herself choosing it. I'm not sure. It was one of them. It showed on one of their videos. So I'm going to go ahead and take that from them and choose it for my own as well. Plus, I already had it. It's in my queue on my Kindle, so we're going to go with it. Accessibility is key. So yeah, so now we have that one. So next up is an enemies to lovers. This is one of my favorite because usually the banter and the back and forth and the wit is just inside of it, chef's kiss. Usually love that aspect of it. And for that, I am doing How Does It Feel? This is book 1 in the Infatuated Fae series by Janine O'Reilly. I picked this up recently and it sounds good. You have, when a trip into the forest to collect a rare mushroom for her research goes horribly wrong, biologist Callie Peterson finds herself falling through a fairy portal and straight into the arms of the unseelie Fae Prince, the dangerously unhinged and viciously handsome unseelie Fae Prince. He thinks she's an assassin sent by the humans to kill him, not a scientist, and he imprisons her in his realm where unwittingly, his obsession with her begins to grow. Prince Mendax has never felt anything but loathing until his eyes met hers, this vile human assassin's. He believes she's here to kill him, yet her beauty is a parasite that he mercilessly latches onto in his mind and won't let go. He itches to feel her smooth skin. Even though the unseelie royals would rather burn than touch a human, it's a dangerous desire. If he does not destroy the girl soon, she may be the only thing capable of destroying him. Mendax needs to be rid of her, but he also needs to entertain his people, and so he challenges Callie to 3 deadly trials. If she survives, she gains her freedom. If she doesn't, well, his wrath is only just beginning. So, a little bit more darker, definitely enemies to lovers because, captor, captee, it's going to be interesting. And also I love that it has like the little mushrooms on the cover because that's what seems to cause this whole issue. But we're going to choose this for our enemies to lovers. And as far as our part 2 kind of prompt to go with it, we are going to link this with a new author because I have never read from Janine O'Reilly, so it should be a fun adventure. And so there we go. Next up, we have a forbidden love. This can be anything that just screams forbidden. They're not fated to be. They're maybe from enemy families, being kept apart from each other, whatever it is, their love is not supposed to be. And for this, I am doing The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. I've seen some good comments on this. I have not seen reviews. I don't usually like to read reviews. If you hear noises, that is because my boys have woken up with tons of summer energy and they are now bouncing around downstairs. So if you hear that, I apologize. Just laugh it off. It happens. But basically, you have Laura has been living by her wits since she was a child, running poisons for the cartel that took her in, avoiding the attention of the law and keeping her affinity for death magic a secret. Because mortem is a rare and illicit commodity and using it could mean death. When a job goes wrong, Laura suddenly finds herself thrust into a lavish court where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted. There, Laura must navigate an intricate web of politics, religion, and forbidden romance to solve a mystery more dangerous and twisted than she can ever imagine. So right there in the blurb, it says forbidden romance. Forbidden love, forbidden romance. We're going to go based on that. I mean, let's hope that it says it because it literally says it on the back. So we're going with Forbidden Love, Foxglove King. And for linking it to part 2, we are doing it as this is available on Kindle Unlimited. And that was kind of my stretch for it. It's a book that's supposed to be on Kindle Unlimited or available on Kindle Unlimited if you have the physical copy. I have the physical copy, but it is available on Kindle Unlimited, so it is up for grabs on here. So that is what we were going to do. And for our 8th and final book for part 1 prompts, we have Friends to Lovers. And that is just what it says. You are friends and you cross that line into the lovers. And for this, I am choosing book 1 in the Blood Gray series, which is Blood Mercy. I have heard great things about this book. And this is by Villaroth, who has a huge following in fandom. So I'm assuming it's going to be good. And basically, when Cassia seeks out Hesperine, he could end her mortal life in a heartbeat, but she has no fear of his magic or his fangs. She knows the real monster is a human king, her father. If he finds out she's bargaining with his enemy, he'll send her to the executioner. As a Hesperine diplomat, Leo must negotiate with mortals who hate him. Cassia is different, but politics aren't why she captivates the gentle immortal. He wants more than her blood, and if he can't resist the temptation, he'll provoke the war he's trying to prevent. This one says, like right there, it says Blood and Ash fans will love this. I love Blood and Ash, so winning me over. Now, I have heard from people who have read Blood Mercy and have recommended it through their own videos, that this is a friends to lovers, that there is a friendship first and then it crosses over into love. So hopefully it is that. Otherwise, I will probably need to pick something new. But we're going to go for now with Blood Mercy and linking it to our last part 2 prompt. This is going to be a friend recommends because I have seen this on a few romantasy recommendations or romance recommendation videos. So we're going to go with that. And so that will be the end to our 8 books for part 1. However, if you can see a little bit on here, like especially the bonus challenges, I'm pretty sure we will probably come across vampires, fae, witches. So it really seems like dragons, pirates, and Vikings might be the ones that I might need to find something extra on. As of right now, I do have a book set aside for at least the pirates prompt, and that is Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Roberts. Obviously, you know, I love Katie Roberts and her writing. So when I found out she was doing a pirate fantasy kind of romance, I grabbed it up. And basically you have Evelyn is a witch. So we have the witch character. The perfect storm of impulses, terrible taste in bed partners, sticky fingers, and the lust for danger after she steals from her vampire ex. So once again, we have vampires in this. She falls through a portal to another realm. She's fished out of the water by a band of seafarers and their telekinetic captain, the pirates. She immediately given a choice, join their ship's crew or die. Bowen has no memory of his life. So once again, we have one of the microtropes with lost memory. He and his band of pirates are bound by a vow to patrol the threshold, the magical sea between realms, keeping the portals to other worlds safe. When he rescues Evelyn, he doesn't expect to be attracted to the unflappable brassy pickpocket. The longer he spends in her presence, the more he begins to question if his heart is the next thing she'll steal. But the tension heats up between Bowen and Evelyn. The danger at sea escalates as well because Evelyn has no intention of keeping her vows to the ship, and if she betrays the crew, both she and Bowen will pay the ultimate price. So it's very intriguing to me. It obviously has a witch, a vampire, and a pirate. So there's 3 of our bonus challenge characters right there in one book. So this will probably be added on to everything we're reading to get those bonus challenges if I haven't gotten them in the other books. So we have right now these 4 physical ones that I have, and then there's like 4 or 5, you know, ebooks or audiobooks, because I know we have one audiobook in there to get to. It's going to be very interesting. There is also going to be a round 13 of Final Book Support Group happening later on in the month. So I will be doing a separate TBR for that as the month goes on to say what I'm going to be reading for that. It is a week-long readathon or edition of Final Book Support Group. So it will have its own TBR. You might see some of these books show up again if I haven't gotten to them yet. I'm going to try to put them into the categories because there is a bingo card for that. But that is it for the Romantasy challenge. I will also be trying to keep up with the Magical Readathon. Anything that I haven't read that was from June's TBR that was for the Magical Readathon is going to slide over as well. Right now, there's still a week and a half left or so in June. So plenty of time to get a few of those done and off the list. But for July, we do have our Magical Readathon Year in Aurelium challenges. And so we have 2 because there are only 2 choices and I have my 2 characters and they're both on their own paths. So for 1, it is to complete and keep an extra strong healing potion. So for this, you have to read a book about a topic you care about. And I was kind of torn between going with like a biography or a nonfic, but I did kind of want to keep with this romantasy feeling for July. So I decided to choose one of the fairy tale retellings that is one of my favorite fairy tales, and that is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I grew up, I do like the Disney one, but I grew up with the fairy tale theater version with Susan Sarandon, which was just a little bit different. There's also a French video out there that was phenomenal that I've seen, that was Beauty and the Beast retelling. That was very much a magical kind of fae world with a curse. So I like those kind of retellings of it, but I do love the whole idea of Beauty and the Beast and Beauty falling in love with the Beast. That is why I love it. I know that it's through her love he turns into a prince. I don't care about that. I love the fact that she could see past the Beast. She could see past the negative qualities and traits in this guy and love him anyway. And that was kind of what I loved about it. And so for that, I am going to read Mountain Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair. I do love Scarlett St. Clair's writings. So I found out that this is kind of her Beauty and the Beast retelling with probably spice, because she does that so well. And she also does retellings well, because we do love her Hades and Persephone retelling. That is a very good series, and I love Hades. So for this one, you have all Gisela's life, her home village of Elk has been cursed, and it isn't a single curse, it's one after another, each to be broken by a villager, each with devastating consequences. When Elk's well goes dry, it is Gisela's turn to save her town by killing the toad that lives at the bottom. Except the toad is not a toad at all. He is an elven prince under a curse of his own, and upon his death, his brothers come for Gisela, seeking retribution. As punishment, the princes banish Gisela to live with their seventh brother, the one they call the Beast. Gisela expects to be the prisoner of a hideous monster, but the Beast turns out to be exquisitely beautiful, and rather than lock her in a cell, he offers Gisela a deal. If she can guess his true name in 7 days, she can go free. Gisela agrees, but there's a hidden catch. She must speak his name with love in order to free him too. But can either of them learn to love in time? So not only is this kind of like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, it does have some elements of The Princess and the Frog and Rumpelstiltskin from what it sounds like. So it's going to be a very interesting tale. I love the cover of this. So this is going to be my read for one of the Magical Readathon books. The other one that I have to do is to befriend and tame a messenger crow. And this is to do a friend's favorite. So I'm going to double up on this one, and I'm going to use Blood Mercy since it was a friend recommendation for the Romantasy challenge. And we are going to just use this one and go from there, because why not when you have this much to read? So we will do that. Now we also have our challenge accepted jar pick. I have not done the other two books as of yet, so I'm still going to try to get to those. So I might include the challenge accepted jar pick in my final book support group video and see what we get, because hopefully by then I will have tackled one or two of the picks that we still have on our list, because I am behind because it is summer and kids are out and it's hot and yeah. But other than that, it sounds like it's going to be fun. Once again, I will leave a link to the Romantasy Challenge down below. I will also leave a link to the Magical Readathon Year in Aurelium. Even though we are kind of at the halfway point, if you are still wanting to kind of look at the challenge or participate, I will leave a link for that down below as well. And with that, I hope your summer is going well. I hope that hopefully you're not suffering too bad in the heat wherever you are. That good weather is upon you and you are enjoying yourself. And with that being said, wish you guys all the best, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.